All right, it is International Chess Day. I don't know why I thought that'd be funny. International Chess Day, it's Monday. But not for the endurance athlete. Not for the endurance athlete. I figured it may be valuable to share a little on the week-over-week mindset. And maybe I can share some tips to my process and evolutions that my mindset has made. So back when I was a gym bro, only a gym bro, I'm still a bit of a gym bro. Back when I was only a gym bro, Monday, I always viewed Monday as like, it's right, big chest day usually, really got to get after it. And that could be good from a training sense, but what I realized is that very often it was an attempt for me to course correct a bad weekend of eating and drinking. Like, I would be on my game, Monday to Thursday, maybe even Monday through Friday, and then over the weekend I'd have a couple beers, Friday, Saturday, probably watch some NFL games, have some beers on Sunday, and then like that desire on Monday to get after it, while it was good, it was also like trying to swing out of a negative couple of days. And endurance became a huge shift for me because the weekend is where majority of the thick, we'll call it, of training is happening. And so even if your long session is only like 90 minutes, right? If that's fine, right? Doesn't need to be 3 or 4 hours, right? If your weekday stuff is 30 or 45 or an hour, and then your weekend stuff is 90, right? And that's pretty much how I started out, 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours. I'm riding outside, stuff like that. Well, I'm just doing more active things throughout the entire day. And so there was a transition period where like I still would be having a couple of drinks. Like I was just telling a buddy yesterday, like a big unlock for me from an endurance lifestyle standpoint when I was living in Philly was like, I could ride from my mom's place in the suburbs, but what really unlocked my riding was driving like 20 minutes out farther into like farm country. Like if you're from the Philly area, like Westchester area. And so the entire day started to become this endurance lifestyle. Like I would prep for the ride on Friday night. I'd be driving somewhere, so like I'd want to have my stuff organized, and then I'd head out in the morning, and then, I'd find some place to park. I'd look up a route on Strava. That's a huge hack. Like so many people have access to riding like this, like just 15 or 20 minutes from where they live that they don't ever really explore. So checking out Strava and seeing some heat maps and suggested routes, like there's so much customization they can give you based on like route distance, all the details that you want. And so it's a little chilly in here. I'd go ride for the morning, and maybe the ride would again just be like 90 minutes or 2 hours or something. But then, if Chelsea's with me, we'd often go stop at like a brewery afterwards, grab lunch or something like that, and that would become the day. And so, right, even though the diet wasn't perfect and I was still drinking a little bit, more than I do now for sure, it was like guiding me towards the weekend not being this complete fall off. And what that shifted my mindset to is that Monday's training can be a lot more relaxed. And so if you are somebody who's making this transition from strength to endurance, I have a couple of tips here that may help your individual process. You got to know yourself, and you got to know what phase of the year you're in, not even from like a training cycle, but from like a life setup. Like, what are your immediate needs right now? Whether it's family, business, training, like what is the priority right now for you in terms of like what you're doing first thing in the day. Now, in my Ironman build, I really liked Mondays being a rest day, because that gave me a ton of time to get ahead on my business for the week. and it gave me space, right? Not having to deal with training, gave me space to feel like I was playing offense and playing with the lead. It's like the same principles apply. Feel like I was playing offense, feel like I was playing with the lead in my business. And then as the week would kind of build in, the training would ramp then towards a weekend, a big weekend. Now, I'm in more of a moderate phase of training, and Monday to me right here is gonna be a recovery day. Recovery training though. So I'm headed to the pool right now, and I'm just gonna do this is gonna be a very easy recovery swim. Like I'm looking to go as slow as possible almost. I'm looking to really slow down. There's a couple other things that I'll talk about when we get to the pool. I think I'm gonna bring, I got the tripod selfie stick here. I'm gonna bring this into the pool and talk a little bit on some swim training stuff, but just talking on weekly flow here, and you know, you want to maintain this rhythm where you're always in motion. That's really the idea. And one of the big endurance unlocks once guys get into training is learning how to recover in motion, right? Having a swim just not kick their ass. Having a ride, right? Learning how to ride easy, but not just being slow and sloppy on the pedals, right? That's why I talk a lot about the high cadence stuff when I'm riding, is that really keeps the body pretty crisp rather than just getting really lazy with it. So that's a bit of what we're getting into today. This morning has already been pretty wild. I mean, it's 5:50, and last night I was sleeping well, but all of a sudden I was up at 2, and I was pretty wide awake. And so I ended up just getting out of bed a little after 3, and did some really fun business building. I got a new cohort that I'm opening up for Tribal. It's an off-season foundations cohort. So I'm gonna be bringing the Tribal team through this 5-week program on developing your own off-season protocol and walking people through different data points they can check in on their past year of training, setting some floor goals, setting guys up to play with a lead, a lot of these things that I've been talking about. And I'm looking to bring probably 2 or 3 new people into the cohort, give them a taste of Tribal. And so I just got a landing page built out for that, and I got an email sent out for that, so that was huge win. And then we got big progress on the Maple Boost stuff. The Maple Boost stuff is coming along really well. This weekend, I basically used ChatGPT to build out a full business plan for the next phase of the product. So I was thinking about using a manufacturer, but I wanted to move faster than I was getting reached back out to. So I decided to just use ChatGPT and figure out how I can do some lower the bar, raise the execution. And so I basically went through a full cost analysis of what are the things that I need. I need maple syrup, I need some pouches, I'm gonna need the additional electrolytes that I add in, and I'm gonna need some labeling, some product stickers, right, to legitimize it a little bit more. And I'm basically moving towards a gel. So I haven't even gotten any feedback from the guys that I sent the samples to, but I'm already sensing just that a gel is something I want to explore. I saw this guy, there's this company, I love just learning from people that are building stuff on Twitter. And there's this supplement that I see that's, I think it's just called Sport Drink. It's a really simple caloric sports mix. I've never used it, but I saw the brand account. It seems to be run by the founder. And I saw something they shared in the past couple of days that was basically 99% of consumable products are used to fill one void: convenience. And when I saw that, I felt really inspired by that. I was oh man, that gives me some permission to lean more into the simplicity of maple syrup fueling, rather than needing to the first round of ingredients that I ordered for Maple Boost back in the summer. I had all these fucking B vitamins and nootropics and all these different things that I was looking to add in to make it seem extra, make it seem like this extra benefit, right? But think in reality, that's just a little bit not even true to my own process. And seeing a brand that's ahead of me talk about the value of convenience for the consumer, I thought that was pretty cool. And so that's how I'm thinking about it right now. I basically did the calculation on 5 gallons of maple syrup will equate to just under 500 units of a gel that's 80 calories. And so that will give me 40 10-packs with some additionals for me to test out the ratios and the taste and all that jazz. But basically worked on that a little bit, got a new logo built up that I'm gonna have a printed sticker mule thing figured out for getting on the new gels. And so that's moving along. And I'm also just like thinking, maybe we'll just keep rambling here a little bit. I'm just like thinking about, I got a couple people in my life right now who are really unsatisfied professionally. And it's a little tricky for me to, like, how do I connect with that person and get them to attack the smallest version of their goal? Like, if you are somebody out there and you don't feel like your job is providing you with any kind of fulfillment, it's giving you a paycheck and that's solid, but your hobbies and interests are drifting farther and farther apart from the work that you do. Like what does that person do? And when I think about my own process and when I started with my first side hustle, sewing dog bandanas, like, the reality of it was that I let it consume my life. I let it completely consume me. And I was working on it before I was going to my 9 to 5. I was listening to podcasts that would like teach me on it. Like, in the same way that I just talked about that tweet from the sport drink company, like in that same vein, I was like freaking absorbing Gary Vee podcasts and anything that would give me a little bit of, ooh, maybe I could try that. Ooh, I could do that. Ooh, maybe this would work. I would listen to that stuff all day at my 9 to 5. And then after my 9 to 5, I'd go home and I would chip away more at the side hustle. And I just loved hustling on it. I loved hustling on it. And it's really like when I see somebody who's unsatisfied in their professional life, but they're also just kind of living a day-to-day life. Maybe they're training hard and towards big, ambitious athletic goals, but like if the rest of their time is kind of in like a drifting sense, like they're watching a lot of Netflix, they're kind of just scrolling around on their phone, their morning routines are like they wake up and they're just kind of chilling. Like, I think you got to get after it, man. I think you got to get after it. And I think you got to expand what you think progress can look like. Like, progress can look like all the things that I just did today. Building a landing page, sending an email, drafting like a logo for a product that's on the way, right? You're not just making a random logo for a random website for a random thing that's not live. Like, I got product on the way. Next step is get the logo and get those stickers sent my way. And I just think the more that you send that stuff out into the world, the more that you will have opportunities pop up, right? Because it's not necessarily like you need this vision of the end outcome of what is this going to lead to? What is my side hustle? What am I building today? And what is this supposed to become? Like, a lot of times what it will become is going to change once it gets live. Like, that's a huge tribal business law, is like, get it live and get it going. And so if you are somebody who's in that kind of spot, like, you gotta listen to me. You gotta get moving. You gotta get moving. You gotta get going on your vision. You gotta take action. And I think you just gotta start moving enough on these ideas that rhythm of you just moving towards something is what unfolds for your life. So that's what we got. We're at the pool here, 5:58, and about to go hit this recovery swim, and I will see you in the pool. We got the selfie stick, the tripod coming. Here we go. no matter what temperature the water is or what time of the year it is, the first little jump in the pool in the morning is always a little wake up. Now, what we're getting into today, let's get the swim cap on here. We are going to be doing 21 by 100 pull paddles. We got the pull buoy, keeping the lower body up. Then we got the paddles that are getting a little bit more upper body power. I really like these for getting the lats engaged, and they're really valuable for basically forcing good form. A lot of beginners, if they're really like moving their arms around in their stroke with the paddles on, you just can't really do that. Like the paddle will sort of just stop in the water. So valuable little tools here, and what we are going to be doing to make sure that this stays as a recovery swim is 3-stroke breathing. So instead of just breathing like every stroke, I'm going to be alternating my breathing every 3. And so that is going to force me to slow down a little bit. Now, there's a couple other little things that I'm thinking about as I'm looking to get better as a swimmer right now. So number 1 is keeping my hips up and core engagement. So even though the pull buoy is going to be keeping my legs and my lower body lifted, I don't want to just be lazy with it. Like, I want to use that as an opportunity to engage my core a little bit more easily and keep my hips up. So that's kind of thing number 1. Now, thing number 2 is how I'm going off the walls. A lot of triathletes don't worry about this at all, but right now, it's unlocking my ability to move through the water better. Let me explain that real quick. So typically, if I'm not thinking about it, when I do a flip turn, I come off the wall and pretty much right away I am gasping for air. And I can barely make it to the flags. Now, if I want to get farther off the flags or farther through the flags, farther off the wall, there's a couple different things that I can do. The first is be tighter with my streamline. Now, I have realized that when I'm flip turning, sometimes I have this tendency to like let my left arm really swing out, and then all of a sudden it's really hard to get into a streamline, and so I just Superman. I just go arms straight up, and I'm not moving through the water really well at all to get farther past the flags. And so the first thing I'm thinking about when I'm doing my flip turn is like keeping my shoulders and my arms directly back so they sort of go right over me like that. And then that allows me to lock up in a streamline like this. And when I'm streamlined, well then all of a sudden when I shoot off the wall, I move so much more easily through the water and I can make it past the flags. But the other thing about getting past the flags is not just looking to breathe on that first stroke. Instead, looking to do 2 or 3 strokes and then take a breath. Now, here's the kicker and how it connects back to doing 3-stroke breathing. If I am not able to take 2 or 3 strokes coming off the wall, that is a sign that I'm working too hard. And so we've got 3-stroke breathing that's like kind of a check on effort, but then also getting 2 or 3 strokes in before that first breath off the wall, that is also a check on effort. And so this whole swim is really gonna be kind of similar to yesterday's ride, like checking down the effort when I feel myself like almost wanting to grind. So with that, we will go ahead and get to it, and I will see you after the swim. Boom. All right. Solid little swim, and a good reminder, a great reminder that, should we get a light going in here? A great reminder that you should not care what pace your Strava says. I didn't even look at the final numbers, but that was like almost 140, 141 per 100 for each of those sets that I did. And I got my own process, right? Why should I care about what my pace looks like for a random swim at the end of October? I hear that a lot of times. Guys are like stopping their watch like before their cool down on a run or something like that, so that their freaking random 3 or 5 mile run looks a certain way, as if people are like paying attention to that. You got to remember that, like, listen, you got your own process, you got your own goals, right? The clarity on your own goals and the clarity and the intention that you got going into each session, that's really what this is all about. Like, I had good clarity there on, hey, this doesn't need to be some kind of hard effort, but I got like intention on what's going on. I got some structure that I'm building out. I have some things that I'm thinking about related to my own progression, and like that creates the win. The win is not, oh, the freaking swim is 129 per 100 because I did a bunch of fast 25s or fast 50s or wore flippers for half the swim. Like, who cares? Who cares? You got to have confidence in your own process and what you're doing. And you also got to be comfortable that, like, hey man, just showing up for the day and stacking the swim. Like, I haven't swam on a Monday in quite some time, so I'm ahead of the game right here. I'm ahead of the game. And when I'm thinking back to, like, I kind of wish that what I said on the business building stuff at the end of that pre-swim car talk, it's more about, like, it's not so much that, like, you gotta hustle and grind, like, all the time. It's more that you gotta be really consistent on, like, doing one thing a day. Maybe that's what it is. One thing a day. If you can do one thing a day to move your own professional freedom forward, that's a win. And what you will realize is that all of a sudden, well, if you got one win a day coming, that quickly can turn into like 3. Maybe you got a win before work, maybe you got a win during work, maybe you got a win after work. Well, then all of a sudden, you're just doing it kind of all the time. And that is how a morning like this morning for me would eventually happen, where it's like, dude, there were like 6 wins. Right, I didn't even mention I got a YouTube video. I got yesterday's video edited and posted live to Twitter. I'm toying with that now too, like the full video just right on Twitter. So that's the challenge for you. The challenge for you is to be confident in your own process and to trust that just like stacking the brick and getting those single win for the day, like that is enough over time. If you have a long-term vision, right? None of this stuff is going to happen overnight. No training progress, no business progress, no creative progress. But every day we can make significant gains towards whatever our vision is for life. So that's what I got for you. Time to get home and see what's cooking with the fam. I will see you guys later. You need to believe that you're the one. That you're the one to change everything for your family. If you are someone who came from some kind of background with toxic relationships or all kinds of family drama, like, you gotta believe, dog, that you have been chosen by God to change the trajectory of your family, to break generational chains. And when we're thinking about getting up every day and moving closer to that better version of ourselves, right? This calling that we've got inside to strive, to achieve, to be better. Man, I just love to anchor that to the belief that I am the one. And in the beginning, that belief that you're the one, there can be a lot of tension in there. Almost like a negative energy of wanting to change the old ways, to break free, right? To rid yourself of the shackles of that generational pain. But what I have found is that that kind of negative energy, it only serves you for so long before it starts to infect your mind in an even more negative way. And over time, it has been valuable for me to shift to more of a positive energy, to have understanding for my family history and the reasons, the circumstances that led to the challenges of my upbringing, the things that I felt held down by. And that shift from the negative to the positive, well, now all of a sudden, we gotta transform that into belief. Not only positive odds on where we're headed, but a freaking deep foundation of belief that not only are we meant to head in this new direction, but that we can actually freaking make it. That we are the ones to change everything for our family, not only for our immediate family, right here, right now, but for future generations. Our entire bloodline is changing right here, right now, on this freaking Monday, with what I'm choosing to do with my time. With the actions that I'm taking to make myself better. Because I got the Holy Spirit in me, man, and it's moving some kind of way, and I am not going to deny this feeling that I got inside to answer this call that I am the one. And I'm guessing that if you're watching this video, I'm guessing that you're the one too. And ain't it about time that we did something about that? And with that, let's go ride our bike. We got Recovery Day rolling on. Part of my family's generational chains being broken is my dad and I reconnecting after a 10-year gap in our relationship. And we have been reconnected for coming up on 2 or 3 years now. And it's been so beautiful that endurance has been a thing that we have been able to form new bonds over. And I've coached my dad to a couple of 70.3s now, and in a couple of weeks, he and I are going to be doing our first 70.3 together. And so this week, I challenged my dad to a 7-day bike streak. Starting here on Monday, 7 straight days, ride till Sunday. And I said, what kind of coach, what kind of son, would I be if I didn't also go rip a 7-day bike streak? So we are kicking things off. I got a couple of bonus days in the bag too, because I rode the past 2 days. So I'm going 9 days. Let's go, dog. That may be my longest streak ever. We are hitting a recovery ride today. Easy spin, high cadence, have fun, get out for at least an hour. Let's go get it. Just riding smooth. Just riding smooth. Quality little recovery ride. Past 2 rides have been like 175 normalized power. And the more pumpy strong zone 2 rides have been like 220 lately. So like a good little drop, keeping the cadence up. And that's a quality little recovery training day. That's a good... about an hour 45 of volume. And now the job the rest of the day is to get ready for the hill repeats on the run tomorrow, plus whatever ride we decide to get into. Hydrate, eat, get back to business. Good day stacking bricks. See you tomorrow. Peace.